So it's new car day and everyone loves new car day, but do you expect your new car to turn up on a forklift? Here she comes, look. Please be gentle. Now, as most of you are probably aware by now, this isn't a normal car purchase. I have bought this car from Copart, which is a salvage auction. And that is why it's turning up on a forklift, because it doesn't run. That's almost like a profile picture, isn't it? He's put that down perfectly. Now, it's normal procedure to load salvage cars onto a truck with a forklift, and that's because 9 times out of 10, they don't work, they're crash damaged, the wheels are either bent or even missing, and in my case, this car has been stolen and recovered, and it doesn't run. Yes, I have bought myself an Audi RS6, and you may have noticed it doesn't look very damaged, and that's because it's not. But there is a very good reason I bought this from a salvage auction, and a very good reason why I bought it for £10,000 less than what it's worth. And it involves a big risk. But first of all, I'm going to get back home, it's a 4-hour drive. Let's talk about it back there. So after getting back late that night, I had to wait till the next day to unload it. But things didn't start very well. Yeah, the car kind of fell off the back of the trailer. And yeah, it was kind of my fault because I was going too fast down the ramp, and the ramps ended up flicking up. Because of the long wheelbase of the RS6, the ramps fit in between the wheels perfectly, so there was no weight on the wheels. They flicked up when the rear wheels hit the ground, and then when they fell back down, they missed the trailer, and therefore the front wheels fell off. I would normally go a lot slower reversing a car off the trailer, but because I had no engine, I had to rely on gravity, which means I needed momentum to get off the trailer. I've just been working out in my head. I reckon I've reversed well over 2,500 cars off trailers in the last 8 years, and I've never ever had a car fall off like that. When I was sat there and I just felt it drop down, I just instantly thought I'd just rip the whole front end off. Luckily, it fell onto the ramps, the trailer wasn't that high, and all I really did, the weight was still on the wheels, and all I really did, I've taken it off now, but the air trim guide that goes on the front under tray, I've broken that, and that is all, and I can easily replace that. So I absolutely panicked then. Clearly this car's not damaged, but I'm doing my very best to make that not the case. But luckily, crisis averted, it is all good. Now, after that panic, let me get onto the car. And yeah, you haven't actually seen round it yet. That, by the way, was already loose. That wasn't a result of what I've just done. But yeah, looking around the car, it seems perfect. I've got someone en route to completely valet this up because it's obviously very dirty. But on first inspection, I can't find any damage on it whatsoever, which is a really good start. Also, looking at the discs, yes, they're a little bit rusty, but they aren't that bad, which means the car hasn't sat for long. Now, as I said in the last clip, I have bought this for £10,000 less than what it's worth. And as you can see, there's no damage on it. So you may be wondering why. There is one reason why this was a massive gamble. And no, well, it could be the engine actually, but it's that. The ECU has been removed. Now, this car was stolen, recovered, and the ECU had been removed when the car was found. Now, I believe it had a tracker on it, which is why it was found. But the question is, and the reason obviously I've got it cheap is, has the ECU been removed because there's a fault with the engine and there's some dodgy insurance thing going on? Or has the ECU been removed by the thieves as a way to stop it being stolen from them, if that makes sense? Because obviously when cars like this get stolen, they get placed in a random place for a couple of days just to make sure there's no trackers or anything like that on them. And to stop it from being stolen from them, they could do something like remove the ECU, which immobilizes the car. Now, I'm hoping that is the case. So all I should need to do is get an ECU, plug it in, code it, start it up, jobs are good, and it's literally cost me an ECU. That is what I'm hoping. Obviously, the other side of it could be that the engine is knackered and it's all some part of dodgy insurance and we could need to buy a new engine, in which case I'm going to be out of pocket. So again, I roll the dice, it's a massive gamble, but the last 2 times I've bought stolen recovered cars, the RS4 Nagaro, that was actually a very similar thing, although they stole the gateway from the car. and I just bought a new gateway, plugged it in, and it worked. So I'm really hoping it's the same thing that's happened on this car. And also the Q8 Black Edition that I used to go pick the RS6 up in, I bought that cheap because it was stolen, recovered, the virtual cockpit was damaged, and again, although I had to spend a little bit more on that, I was still under budget, and it turned out well. So let's hope I've done it again, and we've got a car that's going to be well under budget. Now, before it gets washed, I'm just going to show you what we're dealing with the interior so you can see it firsthand exactly how I've received the car. So first thing to note is the OBD port here, look, has been ripped out, and also the earth cable's been taken out. I don't know if that was on purpose or that's just a result of them pulling the OBD port out of there. I'm not sure. Obviously this cover's missing as well. The interior is pretty clean. The car's done 60,000 miles. It's 10 years old, so it's averaged 6,000 miles a year, so it's bang on really. Interior looks really clean though. Smells quite nice actually. Ah, there you go, that's the culprit of it smelling nice. Got a little tree in there. The back, again, although a bit dirty, it looks fairly clean. Now I'm going to go around, once the car's clean, I'm going to tell you exactly the spec and the reason that I thought this would be a good buy. The back doesn't look as clever. It looks like the thieves have gone into the side trims to try and find trackers, etc. I can't get into the boot just yet because my battery thing's on charge. So yeah, we'll have a good look in there in a second. But at first glance, although dirty, it doesn't look too bad. I'm going to give it some power. Let's pop the boot. There we go. Now we can see exactly what the... Ooh. Oh no, we got a hamster in the car. We got a hamster in the car. And he's lost an eye. This is not a good day. So there's going to be hamster poo everywhere. But looking around what we got, so we got a locking wheel key, beautiful. So they've obviously gone into here, and whether they've actually done anything, I don't know. They could have just literally pulled this out to look for a tracker. Ah, is that cannabis? Is that cannabis? I'm not 100% sure. It looks like it. Doesn't smell like it. I'm sure at this point. I'll update you, I'll ask some people. But yeah, I can't see, apart from obviously exposed wires, but that looks like it's got factory tape on it. I can't see anything too mad. Got some glasses, and that's pretty much it. So nothing really to talk about majorly there. Obviously our ignition does work, but ECU's not with us, so there's only so much it's going to be able to do. So, yeah, I don't think there's really much more to talk about for now. Oh, the battery's gone flat. So the valeter's going to be here any moment now, and in the next clip, you're going to see just how beautiful I think this car is going to look. And there's going to be a couple of reasons, as well as the visual aspects, of exactly why I took the risk, and I think this will be a cheap fix. Now, frustratingly, you can see the car is wet, the weather's crap, but I'm hoping that you can see through the wet paint and just see actually how clean it is and reflective, and yeah, it's in really good condition underneath the wet. And that is one of the reasons I bought it. It looked like it was in really good condition, and yeah, it's just a really clean car, really nice looking, great spec. Now, the reason I took the massive risk in buying this and hoping that it's not going to cost too much to fix is because of its history. Now, this car has never had an advisory in its life. It's nearly 10 years old, never had an advisory. So to me, that means it's been well looked after. And also, it's got a full Audi service history. So you can tell straight away that this car has been looked after. So for me, I don't think there's anything malicious about the car. I don't see there being an insurance, like something dodgy with that. So in my opinion, it's been stolen, it's been parked up by the thieves, they've taken the ECU out so it doesn't get stolen from them, and that's how the car's then been found. So hopefully I just need to buy an ECU, which I have got and we will be fitting in a moment. But some of the other thing is obviously the spec on it is really good too. So it's a 2016 Audi RS6 in Sepang Blue with a black styling pack, the 21-inch alloys. It's got a panoramic roof, it's got Bose sound system, it's got the sports exhaust with the sport rear diff, it's got the technology package as well. So it's pretty much fully loaded, and it's got everything that you would want an RS6 to have. Average mileage as well for the age. As I said, it's 60,000 miles. It's 9 years old. That's about average. So on the face of it, everything about this car is great, which is what filled me with confidence that we just need an ECU. So, yeah, the interior's now been cleaned as well. I think I've just showed you a picture, but big shout out to Jay, who's come and obviously valeted it as well. I'll show you in the boot in the moment, because I need to get power to the car to open the boot because it's flat. But the first thing we need to do is repair this OBD port, because obviously I'm not going to be able to read anything on the car with a missing earth. Now I've pulled the pin out, taken the safety clip off. Ideally, I think I'm going to just order a new OBD port, because they've also chafed some of the wires through to the metal there as well. So annoyingly, my A3 wiring loom, the only part of the wiring loom I've actually chucked away is the one with the OBD port on it, so that's annoying. So I'm just going to like bodge this for now, just so I can get a connection, and then we can obviously plug the OBD reader in and have a look. But I'm guessing they've probably pulled the earth out of the OBD port again to stop it from being like new keys to be coded or whatever. Isn't it amazing just what a valet can do? Obviously before this looked horrendous and was covered in cannabis, but now it literally looks brand new, so happy with that. As you can hear from the front, it's not happy about the battery, so I don't actually know where the battery is on this. It wasn't in here, was it? No. Let me just take this up. Yeah, so I'm going to change the battery. That's the first thing I'm going to do, because it's dead. So I've got a new battery fitted, and look at that. BMW battery, absolute sacrilege in an Audi. Don't worry, it's not staying there. It was just a good battery that I've got, so I can obviously do all my testing and diagnostics. Now, this actually came from ASM Autos. Now, if you think about it, they have hundreds of Cat B cars that must be crushed. A lot of them are new cars, and they have the batteries for them new cars. So they're now offering lifetime warranty on used batteries from cars. So yeah, I'm gonna put the link in the description. If you need a battery, it comes fully charged with a report there as well. So as long as you've got that battery connected to your car, they give you a lifetime warranty on used batteries. So that's a really good idea, and that is why we're using that one today. But I will, don't worry, put an Audi or a different type battery in this car once we're done. So now with the new battery, I'm going to actually now use my OBD11 scan tool, which is a must-have for any car enthusiast, because it is super useful. And if we just plug it in here to the OBD port, which would normally be obviously hidden out the way, turn the ignition on, and we're going to read the codes and see what they say. Now, OBD11 has full licenses, dealer-level diagnostics for VAG groups, so Audi, Volkswagen, Seat, Cupra, BMW and Toyota and Ford in the US. And there's just loads of stuff you can do. You can check hybrid batteries, and also like a used car buying assistance to check if the car has been clocked. Now, it's really handy to have, and as I said, really good for enthusiasts, because you can plug it into your OBD port and actually just leave it there forever, because it goes into a sleep mode when it's not being used and will not drain your battery. Now, as you can see there, it's actually struggling to identify the vehicle, and that's because there's no ECU plugged in. So what I'm going to do is I have my used ECU here, got it here, so I'm now actually just going to plug that in. Obviously it's not coded to this car, it's coded to another RS6, but this is an RS6 ECU. So I'm going to plug that in, and it's probably going to come up with a different reg, but it should then talk to it at least. Right, I've literally just plugged the two plugs in there, and the fans made a brief noise and then turned off again. So I'm actually just going to cycle the ignition, and there we go. It's just come up with safe on the dash. It's just gone into component protection, because obviously it's a foreign ECU. But let's have a look, and there we go. Look, 199 faults. Obviously ECU's been unplugged, battery's been dead. Yeah, you're going to have faults everywhere. So let's just have a quick look at the vehicle. So let's go to control units and then go into engine, and we should see some foreign faults, i.e. control unit not coded, component protection. There you go, look, check encoding versions. And then it's just going to have... I'm not actually bothered about what this ECU says because this ECU is not from this car. So anything it says here will actually not be relevant to this engine whatsoever. So, and if you use my discount code, it'll actually give you 20% off. Now, I'm going to leave you a link to the ultimate plan because effectively that does everything and it's probably the most cost-effective long-term way to get into it. So I'm going to put the link in the description, guys. Go check them out. And so, yeah, it's just a really helpful tool. And what I'm going to do now is actually just clear all control modules. So now we're left with a more modest 33 faults, and now we need to try and code the ECU. But first of all, I wonder if it will let me start it, and obviously it's going to immediately cut out, but right, let's give it a go. Seat back. Oh, this is where we find out whether it even turns over. Might not do anything. Yes, come on! It started, it ran for over a second, and then it cut out due to the immobilizer. But that is very good news because that means the engine is not goosed. Sounded great as well. Oh, yes, very, very, very happy with that. We've got a load of other fault codes. I may not even be able to code this ECU because it may be bricked because it's got a different chassis number in it compared to the rest of the car. So Otis might just have a hissy fit and say no. But I'm a lot more happy buying a new ECU now I know the engine starts than I would have been, obviously, if it didn't start. So that is a very good sign. Very happy with that. Right, let's plug Otis in and see if I can code this ECU. So I spent the next couple of hours trying to code the foreign ECU to the RS6 using Audi's official diagnostic software. But unfortunately, because of the foreign ECU's got a different chassis number imprinted into it, right at the end when I was trying to do the immobilizer, it just said no, basically. It was just saying, look, no, this doesn't work. The chassis numbers don't match up with the rest of the car. I'm not happy. I'm not going to let you put a key to this car, basically. So right at the end, it just says no. And no matter what I tried, it just would not work. So unfortunately, I haven't been able to code the used ECU to the RS6, which I feared may be the case. And that is all down to the fact that the ECU stores the chassis number of the car in it, and it's locked in it. And unfortunately, obviously, the used ECU has the chassis number of the car that came out of, which is different to this one. And because of that, it won't do an immobilizer. It basically goes through the test plan, and at the end of it, it just says failed at the last hurdle because the chassis numbers don't match. So the ECU's chassis number and the car's ECU's numbers aren't the same, and it won't do it. Obviously, safety reasons for key coding, etc. So that is why it won't code. And you can do another thing called an SVM update. And basically, you plug the car in, it talks to Germany, and Germany will tell me all the control modules this car has, and what coding they should be as well, so you can remotely check everything. Trouble is, they use the ECU's chassis number to do that remote coding. So when I went through it, it was obviously picking up the wrong ECU number, and it was telling me that my car had all the wrong spec, and it was just having a massive hissy fit. So I can't do that either. Another option is you can clone ECUs, but the problem is I need my old ECU to be able to clone the used one, and I don't have it. So I think I'm in a position where I have no choice but to order a brand new ECU, and I don't know how much it's going to be. I think it's going to be anywhere between £1,800 and £3,000 as a guess. I have just inquired, I'm waiting for an email back, but I think that's my only option, because then when you plug that in, it will just be a fresh ECU, and then Germany will probably take the ECU number from somewhere else, and it will just code it as a completely new control unit, and then I think that will solve all my problems. So a bit of a bittersweet, because yeah, the engine runs, it sounded great for those 2 seconds, so I think it's okay, but I think I'm going to have to spend a lot of money on an ECU. Right, before we pop into the workshop and start talking figures, I just want to show you how good this car looks now the weather's perked up a little bit and the car's actually dry. But just look at that. It is absolutely gleaming. This must have some sort of ceramic protection on it or something, because the paintwork is absolutely flawless. There is not a single swirl single scuff on this car at all. Apart from that, we'll get that out. But yeah, it's just beautiful condition. Such a nice car, Sepang. Nice colour, sorry. It almost doesn't, it almost looks a bit darker than Sepang, but yeah, you can just tell. Good car. I think we'll be okay with this one. Right, let's head inside. So I've just got a price back for a brand new ECU direct from Audi, so we might as well talk about the other costs and prices too. So how much did I pay for the car? Now, I actually managed to win it for £22,000 plus fees. So it was actually £24,000. Now, if you have a look, I'm going to put the Auto Trader app up now, and we're going to have a look. We'll select the cheapest RS6 C7 for sale, and you'll see that's £20,000, but that has a gearbox issue, so disregard that. The next cheapest is over £27,000, and that is a car with higher mileage and zero spec whatsoever. So if we just scroll down, I've just kept going, and I found the cheapest one, like for like, of my one, and that is actually worth £35,000, and that is the cheapest one. So they actually range from about 35 to sort of £38,000, depending on like dealer, etc. spec. Now I've just had a price back from the ECU, and it's not as bad as I thought. It was £1,200 plus VAT. So let's just call it £1,450 for a brand new ECU, which I didn't think was that bad. I thought it was going to be more than that. That second-hand one I bought was actually 300 quid, so I'm going to send that back. We'll take it off the bill. I mean, it's still going to cost me 1,450 quid, but I'll save by sending the old ECU back. Now, the new ECU is actually coded from factory by Audi. I had to sign a disclaimer saying once I've ordered this, I cannot get a refund because it is going to be coded to my car. So they get the chassis number and they will actually pre-code it at Audi before they send it out to me. Now, once I get it and I plug it in, I'll still have to do stuff like an SVM update just to check everything's correct, and I will have to still do an immobilizer, code the keys, etc. But it should be pretty much plug and play. So, unfortunately, it's 2 to 3 weeks for that ECU to turn up. So that is where this video is going to end, guys. But I do want you to let me know in the comments, once I get that, is it going to be plain sailing from there, or am I going to find other issues? Is the gearbox going to be okay? Are there going to be other electrical issues? Is it going to drive? Because all I really know is the engine started and ran for a second. So, let me know in the comments. I hope you have enjoyed this video. As soon as that ECU turns up, I will be straight on it because I want to know as well myself, and a video will be out ASAP. So as always, guys, thank you very much for watching. Go grab your tickets for the Golf GTI as well. That ends in a couple of days, and I'll see you in the next video, which is actually going to be the Macan, because I've got, I might be able to see in the background, I've got an engine I've got to put back in. Cheers, guys.